Maryanne Redpath is the head of the Generation section of the Berlin International Film Festival, as well as being the international delegate to Australia. Maryanne commenced working for the festival in 1993, and in 2008 she became the head of the section. Maryanne is also the head curator of the Berlinale special series Native, A Journey into Indigenous Cinema, which was launched in 2013.
Oh God, I've been at the Berlinale for over 20 years now, and it's a bit frightening when I think back. That's the longest I've ever been in any job. How I got there was a lot of chance. I came from a background of performance art and making experimental films, which nobody got to see, and being really interested in art and the creativity of making films, but realising very soon, very quickly along the line, that I wasn't made out to be part of the film industry as it is. I found it really daunting. So it was a really interesting, I found it interesting, a really long road through my life. In German there's a really nice expression, it's called Quereinsteigen. It means I've gone laterally into this job with all of the things that I've done in my life until then. So I won't go into the long story about how I ended up in Berlin, but I did end up working for the festival. I think my first festival was 93. So it was after the wall had come down, so things were expanding in Berlin at the time. And I very quickly got into the section which I head. It was called Kinderfilmfest in those days, and I loved the work, I loved the festival work. I loved being able to help filmmakers coming through get the most out of having a platform at the Berlinale. The film festival was so much smaller then than it is now. So over 20 years since I've been there, there's been this immense rise. The festival directorship has changed. The different sections of the festival have become more consolidated in their what they do, what platform they're offering, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
So you've obviously had a particularly special relationship with Australia.
Yes, absolutely.
And you've been travelling here quite a bit. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what you do while you're here as a selector for Australia.
So I've been the delegate for Australia and New Zealand films for the festival, for the whole festival, for about 12 or 14 years. I come out every year, as do selectors from other festivals, and my job here is to look at, like I call it, the harvest. So what has been made what has been finished, hopefully in the 12 months leading up to our festival, and I get a really good overview. I think I have one of the best overviews of what is happening in Australian film altogether, because many of the films or most of them are funded or supported in some way by Screen Australia, but as others come in from the side or from the bottom or somewhere, they come out of the blue. So that's quite interesting. I get a really good overview, and I watch the films, and my job is to pre-select. So I will recommend a film to enter for Berlin, or not to enter for Berlin, basically. That's what I have to sort through.
You're coming up to the deadline for Berlin right now, so can you perhaps tell us a little bit about what you have planned for the 2017 Berlinale?
Oh, 2017, that's the difficult one, because we are just going into our full-on selection phase. You know, that's like months and weeks in dark rooms. I think there were about 9,000 entries for the whole festival last year, short and long films, so that's a lot of people in different selection committees watching films day and night to get them all seen by maybe the end of the first week of January when the programming closes. We're just beginning, and it's hard to say because the festival lives from the films which are selected by the programmers in the end. So you can't say there's a theme or a tendency or anything like that. We've got the structure, we build the platform. But there's one really special thing that's happening at the next festival. It's that we're going to have a documentary film prize. That's the first time we've done that. We've been talking about it for years, because when you initiate a new award into a festival like Berlin, you have to be very sure of the structure and the platform that you're creating, and it was important to get it right. So we already have a first feature film award. It's a big cash award. That's across the sections as well, and the rules for the best documentary or documental film in the whole festival is also pertains to the same rules and regulations as the first feature film. Well, there's a 3-headed jury, international jury, watching the nominated films out of the sections. About 17 or 18 will be nominated. They have to be world premieres, and I'm hoping that maybe, who knows, a good Australian film will come through.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, it would be wonderful.
So do you want to just talking about the sections within the Berlinale? It's a huge festival, so perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the different platforms and how each of them work with each other.
I'll start with competition, Berlinale competition. It's the big one, it's the red carpet, it's the paparazzi, it's the big films. Having said that, we do take first features into the competition as well. It's a wonderful mix of major films coming from Hollywood, and first-time filmmakers who make really brilliant, wonderful films that fit really well together in that competition. It's like a competition in Cannes. It is just like the calling card of the festival. It's the major focus. But having said that, the other sections have a lot of focus, so from the press, from the industry and from audiences. There's Panorama. Panorama is the section of the festival which is also known as in official programs. So it's next to competition. It's an excellent place to be with a film, really cutting edge, independent and art house movies that are really sellable and really do well in the cinemas. All sorts of things. They also have the Teddy, the queer part of their programming, which is very important, intrinsic to what they do. And yeah, it's a wonderful place, headed by Wieland Speck, who's been there for a long time. He's got a very particular taste in films, but having said that, he's got selection committees working with him who are suggesting. They have a documentary category, they have an art and essay category, and then a lot of really amazing, brilliant live action films.
Last year.
Yes, yeah.
For the documentary.
Yeah, there you go. And then we have Forum. Forum arose out of like it was a kind of a revolutionary thing that came around in the 70s as an anti-film festival, as the Berlinale was already going, the International Film Festival Berlin was already going, and so Forum came through and said, you're showing all these like really classic Hollywood films, and we want to do something different. So that was like, in short, the beginnings of Forum. Forum has gone on to become a very intrinsic part of our festival, especially over the last 15 years. We grew together with them. They're still pretty independent. They do what they like. Not a competition, but they are showing films of excellent, amazing, outstanding quality, very carefully curated program with, so they go over they cross the boundaries of what one thinks is like a classically made film with a beginning, a middle and a happy end. So yeah, that's Forum, and it's a great place to be for filmmakers. There's a real buzz around Forum. Generation, the section that I head, we screen films for young people. That we're crossing boundaries all the time with that as well. It's an old section of the festival where filmmakers are sometimes surprised that I select films. They say, but I didn't make a children's film. And I say, I know you didn't make a children's film. I wouldn't call it that, but discover the young audience for your film, and 9.5 times out of 10 they come away really, really excited. And so they're just films quite often. Mostly they're told through the perspective of the young protagonist.
They can also go quite old in terms of teens.
Oh yeah, we've got K+, one competition for the younger ones, and 14+. It's always plus. We never put a roof on the age recommendations, so adults always come. Sometimes they need an alibi child to come with them because they feel embarrassed going to see what they think is going to be like a family or a children's film, and it turns out to be something they really identify with. So yeah, Generation's a very exciting place to be. It's got a lot of press, a lot of industry.
Some of the Australian films that have been in the last few years?
Oh yeah, the Australian films have done really well in Generation in the last, 20 years.
Yeah.
Lots of Crystal Bears have come back to Australia for short films and for feature-length films. Every year there's excellent Australian productions and New Zealand productions, I must say, because that's my territory and I'm really on the pulse there. And we've had this great discussion over the years about the kind of films that are being screened for Generation. And I think that the filmmakers in this country really get it. which is wonderful, and so I'm really happy to do that. It's not that I'm sort of doing favouritism, it's just these films come along, they pop up, and the juries really love them, so that's a real confirmation of that selection. Berlinale Shorts. Berlinale Shorts is it's like competition for short films, so it's an excellent place to be with a short film. It's a really extremely excruciatingly curated, finely curated program. A woman called Mia Herner, she's the director, the head curator of shorts, and so the best short on that section ends up getting a Golden Bear, so which the main prize, taking that home. There's about 30 films in that competition. They're extremely cutting edge, and it's very hard to get in there. I think they have about 6,000 entries for Berlinale Shorts alone, so it's like incredible, great place to be.